Morning, folks. My friend Reed in Texas is interested in the bridle horse, so I want to help him every way I possibly can. And as we all know, there's the internet now, so I might as well throw my hat in. And I want to share it with him so he can watch this instead of having to hear it over the phone, and maybe it'll make more sense. Romal Reins is the subject, and I'd like to elaborate on how I use them and why. Now, first you got to know that nowadays I see Romal Reins in the show ring because I can watch the internet just as good as anybody. And there's a lot more of that than there is of what I do, because there's 10 of us and there's 10,000 of them. So that's why you see more of it. All right. Don't get confused or belittle the horse show world, because that's what they do. What I'm going to share with you is about the ranch world, and that's what I do. So the first thing I want to tell you is that one of the biggest differences between showing and a ranch horse is that in the show world, you stay on flat ground and you don't rope. So that changes the whole dynamics of how the spade bit works, or the bridle and the reins. I'll tell you why. So now you take these reins, these are called coastal reins. They're shorter than what you see anywhere. I like them because they're practical and they work for me. Anybody curious about why they're coastal, just get a hold of Ray Ordway. He's 90 plus and he'll share with you, believe me, on why you have them. Okay, there's 3 positions for the Romal Reins in the ranch horse. This is outside. This is what it looks like when I'm riding outside. I pitch him the rein and I'm trotting out or making a circle. That means I don't need anything except forward. Okay. When I rope, I've done the math, which I'll show you in a minute, to get the exact correct length of my rein so that I have the 3 positions. Position 2 is for roping. Now, in the show world, you got to have an X amount of distance here. Well, okay, on the ranch, we use it for moving cattle, and if you're on a crew and you see the boss do this, that means take your rope down, because things are just about ready to get going. And that's all you need to say. You know, I know you hear me babbling all the time, but cowboys aren't all that chatty. They don't need to be. You just pay attention and look around. So now I've got the correct position for roping. And the short rein is so that I don't have to double my reins and hold a bubble above them or anything like that. I simply put my palm concho in my palm, and I take that rawhide hobble strap off first thing, and it makes a real nice little bracelet for your niece if you do it right.
Let me get it.
So now I'm prepared to rope. So I've done the math, and I know that I can rope here with my horse and not betray her mouth, stay out of her way, and my coils are just at the right position where I'm not in the way of dallying. That's why the second position. It's all right here. There, slack, dally, everything's out of the way, and she's on a loose rein. Because when you get a real ranch horse like this one, some of you might recognize her from days gone by and know that she don't have a problem when it comes to catching cattle or being a ranch horse. The third position is working in the corral. Romal's on the right, hand is below the knot. Now, my horse is in the total bridled up position. Show world, certain events, it's hand down. Ranch world, it's not hand down. We balance the horse off of the spade bit. Then, the left hand doesn't move. You look at the cow you want, and the horse you're sitting on says, I got this. Your job is to stay out of their way. Now they can manipulate themselves wherever they need to, because you don't ride with your hand, you ride with your body. Your hand is simply balancing the horse. And something I'd like you to notice, that a ranch horse in the bridle, when you pick up the rein, that short, and you're saying, excuse me, they shift to the hindquarter. That's where a ranch horse needs to be, on the hindquarter. So now you cut out your cow or work a gate or whatever you want to do. So once again, you don't do this. The way these reins are made, they come to a point. That point is designed for your hand. Right there. I'll show you what it's not designed for. This. Or this. Or any variation thereof. And for me personally, when I've got a bridle horse, I've already done all this work in a hackamore or a two-rein. By the time you actually hang that spade on there and get rid of the two-rein, you don't need to do any of this. That's over. If you have to, then you missed a big part of your hackamore world, which went on for about 3 years. Now my bride's going to help me remember everything since I can't. And the palm concho is just a traditional thing that came from a bridle I saw 150 years ago. And I tend to do things that make sense. That's why I like the short reins. So my reins are usually anywhere from 26 to 30 inches long. Now, to get this perfect position for roping, I'm going to show you how I get it done. But before that, when I get off, I'm going to show you that a bridle horse, you don't lead it by the reins, ever. A spade bit in a horse's mouth, when you walk forward with the reins, you're counterproductive to what the spoon does. And it's an insult and a betrayal to your horse. So what we do is we use a get-down rope. Okay, some guys, depending on your terrain, may tie it to their saddle and then use it when they get off. Personally, I just put it around the neck, through the bolsolito and back to the saddle. So now you're going to get off. And most bridle horses, the ones I've made anyway, I simply set my rein and I can either jerk my bridle and tie it, which I very seldom do, or I can take my get down like a Brandon or for whatever reason. If you have a bridle horse and it's not broke to hobble, then you really kind of missed out on a big deal. And incidentally, you know, this is just me babbling and sharing with you, but Ray Harmon's gone, Jay Harney's gone. Dave Weaver's probably hiding out in the brush somewhere, but if you can ever see Dave Weaver ride, I think you'll appreciate what I'm talking about. He makes a really, really nice horse. So this is basically how I would tie my horse. When you have a bridle horse, if you leave the bridle on, you don't do it to graze like you do on, like most Brandons. I've done it myself on other horses. But bridle horses, they're comfortable standing in collection and they're just fine. They'll just sit there and roll the cricket and wait for you to get done. So that's how you tie up a bridle horse. Now this is for Reed. To get the correct length of the reins, I'll show you how I do it. Now this is 2 fine pieces of wire, small, soft wire. So you're looking for this position to be about right here, which is what took me 6 months to figure out where it was. The way you get it done is you have a full chain, for example, and it's too long. You're ending up with it way back here. So you simply take some links, stick the soft wire through them, and twist it. Okay, now you'll ride that. This can take 6 months, a year, whatever.
You do it on both sides, right?
But of course you'd wire both sides.
Just want to clarify.
And you do the exact same lengths on both sides. This is not an uneven this has to be dead even. So now you ride for X amount of time and it's too short. So obviously you just let a couple links out and rewire it again. So you keep doing this until you get what you want. Then you take one end, open it up, cut the amount of links off that you don't need, and then put it back on. That's how you adjust your bridle for the 3 positions that I'm talking about. Now another reason why I like the short reins is because if you happen to have the long ones, which are, I don't know, 40 some inches, and you can't hold a rope, like a lot of women, if they got a 60-foot rope and they got to be able to hold all the coils, they can't do this and hold it all. So now if you take those long reins and drop the Romal, I will guarantee you it'll be laying on the ground when you're trying to rope. That's another reason why I use the short reins. Now, a little bit about the 2-rein. Personally, what I do when I introduce a spade bit to a horse, I'm in the Bosalito by then, and I'm riding outside, and I just hang the spade bit on the horse, which is, you see me hang them where they're just standing in the barnyard from a swivel and a rope up above and their head's comfortable. They learn to hold the bit in their mouth. What I've noticed over the years is the way this bit is designed, the spade bit, is it will put collection on your horse for you, because there's one place that it's absolutely comfortable, and that's when the horse bridles up. So you watch them hang out there, and then pretty soon you'll see them like that, and they found that spot. The other thing I do, it might be a little different, but works for me, is I'll go outside with no curb strap, no chains, no reins, obviously. So now I've got my little bosal, and I'm riding outside, and the spade's hanging there, and it's swinging on these spoons, which it makes it a pendulum. What I mentioned up and down earlier, and not flat ground, cowboys go outside, so you go like this. So when you're making a circle outside, walking, trotting, doesn't matter. That horse is going to learn to balance that bit while he goes up and down. It's a self-taught thing because you can't pull on it. That's a big part of the reason of making a spade bit ranch horse. And there again, I'll just say it one more time. There's the show world and there's the ranch world. And there's a lot of misnomers about the two crossing over. And as far as I'm concerned, they're like night and day. It's just the way it is. Now this is a Sleister high port bit with a cricket. This is a half-breed mouthpiece with a Las Cruces cheek. It has Romal Reins. Okay, the horse I ride it in was rode English for 9 years. We brought her home and I turned her into a ranch horse. Well, she started off in my snaffle because she'd been riding a snaffle and had her duller than a rock, and I eventually transitioned into this bit. This bit, high dollar silver, and this bit, Manel, are the exact same technology. It's all about the curb strap. Now you can buy as shiny a bit as you want, but the fact is, when you're using these kind of bits, it's the curb strap and its leverage. This, the spade, is a signal. My point is, I just wanted to clarify a few things and make things simpler. And people get a hold of us and ask questions. That's why I'm standing here. So this is going to go on our little deal. Plus, we're going to put it on the Romal Reins channel or whatever it's called, so that people can see another story. Thank you for your time.